Here's a client outcome for a senior cardiology trainee I supported, who went from an outcome 4 being released from training just a few years away from CCT to getting an outcome 3 and 6 months exceptional additional training time. Before we worked together, she said, "Emotionally, I was in a very poor mental state, overwhelmed, dysregulated, and struggling to cope. The ARCP outcome 4 and the prospect of the feedback panel left me feeling frightened, disconnected, and unable to think clearly. Professionally, I felt lost and unsure how to navigate such a complex and high-stakes process. Personally, even the support of my family, friends, and husband, although invaluable, could not fully reach me at that time. I felt isolated inside my own distress and unable to organize my thoughts or emotions." After we had worked together, she said, "The change was profound. From our very first sessions, Nuha helped me regulate my emotions. These techniques allowed me to move from panic and emotional overwhelmed to a place where I could think, reflect, and engage." What stood out most was her extraordinary level of presence, dedication, and genuine care. She listened more attentively and in more depth than anyone else. I felt truly heard, believed, and advocated for in a way I had never experienced before. By the end, I felt calmer, clearer, and far more confident, not only in the appeal itself, but in myself again. So let's take a look at the process. The first part, supporting clarity and composure under pressure. Initially, the client felt overwhelmed and unable to think clearly, frightened about the feedback panel, and isolated. The support I provided included deep listening and validation of experiences, emotional regulation techniques for high-stakes settings, focused preparation ahead of the ARCP panel meeting, attending the meeting for support followed by debrief, and ongoing well-being check-ins throughout the process. The client described moving from panic to clarity, regained the ability to think, reflect, and engage, and was calm, confident, and clear during the ARCP panel meeting. In terms of the procedural guidance and strategy, I provided meticulous review and understanding of the issues, identified the crucial information missed by the ARCP panel, reviewed appeal documentation ensuring strategic clarity, clear timelines and task structuring, reducing last-minute stress and cognitive overload. The professional outcomes in this case was that the appeal documentation was ready for submission. However, the panel actually changed their decision before it got to appeal stage. The client said this was not just emotional reassurance or procedural advice, it was a unique combination of emotional containment, practical expertise, and strategic thinking. If you need support, send me a message.